In this video, I'm not going to convince you that manifestation is magic. I'm going to teach you how to control it yourself and get everything you want. Almost everyone has heard about manifestation. And some believe in it, some laugh at it, some call it nonsense. But here's the thing, even people who don't believe in manifestation often live as if it works. So today we're going to explore why manifestation actually affects your life and why it sometimes feels almost magical. What people call manifestation. For some, manifestation is vision boards, for others, affirmations. Some write lists of desires or declare, I am. But if you remove the aesthetics, the question is simple. Why do people actually act differently after these exercises and get different results? Our brains don't perceive reality completely, they filter it. There's a system called the reticular activating system. It decides what's important for us and what background noise. When you set an intention or write down a desire, you're not creating new opportunities. You're allowing yourself to notice them.
'Cause I'm amazing, I'm pretty, I'm smart, I'm pretty.
Jobs, people, chances, they existed before. Your brain just didn't notice them as relevant. Manifestation doesn't create reality, it changes the filter. The power of consistency. Here's something almost nobody realizes. We love being consistent, even when it doesn't benefit us. For example, imagine this. A few weeks ago, you donated a small amount of money to environmental cause. It wasn't a big deal, but your brain quietly made a note. It labeled you as I'm someone who cares about the environment. A couple of weeks later, a volunteer comes to you and asks, would you be okay with putting a small environmental banner in your yard? If they had asked you before the donation, you probably would say no. But now, saying no feels uncomfortable. It's not because you're being pressured, but because saying no would contradict the image you already have on yourself. What actually happened here is simple. Your brain created a label. A small action, like donating once, was enough for your mind to decide, this is the kind of person I am. And once that label exists, you feel an internal push to act in ways that confirm it. We don't like acting against our own identity. This is exactly why affirmations can work. Not because words are magic, but because repeated statements create labels. And once you accept a label, your brain starts looking for ways to prove it true. Here's the part most people miss. This mechanism doesn't care whether the label is positive or negative. It just wants consistency. So, if you consciously give yourself a label, your behavior will slowly start aligning with it. Not perfectly, not instantly, but consistently. So, by declaring to yourself that you are who you want to become by any method, writing it down, talking it out, visualize it, you will actually begin to respond to it for consistency reasons. Why writing works. This principle has been used long before self-help books existed. During one war, prisoners weren't broken with violence. They were asked to write. Write about what was wrong with their country and what was good about another system. At first, it might have seemed like just words on paper, a task, an exercise, nothing more. But with every sentence they wrote, something subtle began to shift. The prisoners started to believe in what they were writing, even if they didn't realize it at the beginning. And in the end, the results were striking. Simply putting their thoughts on paper, even if those thoughts were not originally their own or not fully true, significantly changed their perception. Their view of the other system transformed. So, what actually happened? The key lies in one simple detail. They wrote it by hand. Those words become their creation. When we write something down ourselves, our brain registers it as our own idea. We feel a sense of ownership over it. This is why manifestations through writing can be so powerful. Our brain thinks, I wrote this, therefore this is me. And when we repeat it often enough, the words begin to match who we are. Because as we just explored, what we consistently write, we start to become. Let's think of our brain like an algorithm. Self-concept, behavior, results. We don't act based on our desires. We act based on how we see ourselves. And here's something important. Your brain absorbs everything you repeatedly feed it, especially information that starts with I am, because the brain treats that as data about identity. So when certain thoughts, words, or affirmations repeat often enough, your brain adapts to them. And it starts adjusting your attention, reaction, and your behavior automatically. Now we have dug deeper into the repetition rule. It's no secret that humans are adaptive creatures. Your brain is designed to adapt to its environment, including the internal one. Because we, and with us the brain, adapts even to the words we speak, turning it into actions. And then we have positive results. And at this point, you can already say,
I can manifest like a guy. Manifesting is one of my talents, so watch out, world.
Now I can tell you about the last rule. That may not work quite logically. And here's the interesting part. Manifestation isn't magic. Not in a fantasy sense. But it's also not just positive thinking, because sometimes the effect goes beyond what we can easily explain. There was an experiment with a baby chick. The chick was separated by glass from a small robot. The chick was imprinted on a small robot. It believed the robot was its mother. There was a glass wall between them. The robot moved randomly around the room. Obviously, the chick desperately wanted the robot to stay close. But here's the strange part. Statistically, the robot ended up spending more time near the chick than a pure randomness would predict. Many people believe that this is the law of the universe, attraction. And this experiment shows us something interesting. Consciousness and intention might interact with reality in ways we don't fully understand yet. This means that there's a share of magic in manifestation, and it's not forbidden to believe in it, because it works. In short, you attract what you think about. Such magical things happen often enough to notice. And now you know something most people don't, and you can easily use a manifestation. Use it wisely. If you found this interesting, leave a comment and tell me what topic we should break down next. Subscribe if you're building your mind intentionally, and I'll see you in the next video. Love you guys, bye!